CFS WOD shop, we're gonna go over handstand push-ups. A big issue we see with the mechanics is that people have a hard time locking out their elbows. They get upside down and their elbows are bent. That's a big problem because that puts a lot of strain in muscles that probably the traps, maybe the shoulders, and you're at higher risk to strain your neck. Also, it's gonna be very difficult to apply the technique of the kip or the kick if you're in a bad position. So what causes this? It's definitely what they label a mobility issue, right? You're not mobile enough to straighten out the arms, but what's causing it? So when you're here, if you're shrugged up all the time, and you could try that, you're shrugged up to here, your shoulders are rolled forward just because how we live, we're always here or here, right? I want you to keep your shoulders forward, bring your arms up in that handstand push-up position, and then try to lock out. It's better to do it with a couple of dumbbells. Once you're here, try to press your arms all the way overhead. I get stuck right around here at this angle, and I feel a ton of pressure in my neck because I'm using the upper traps right here to press up. What happens when you kick very hard and you bypass that wall that you hit? So right here, without weight, I stop right here, it doesn't feel good. Two things are gonna happen. You're gonna move because you're kicking with momentum. First one, you're probably gonna have to arch to lean back to finish the lockout. If you arch this way, then you're gonna put a lot of strain on the lower back. You're also gonna lose a lot of that power transfer from the kick to lock out this way. This applies to overhead movements too. So if you've ever had troubles locking out in a handstand, you probably have the same troubles locking out on a jerk, right? They end up over here. It's the same type of thing, or a thruster. The other thing, if people have tight traps, what they do, they're gonna shrug all the way over and keep pushing their head through the other way, right? Shrug and press, and then you start to overarch this way. That's why you see people with overhead squats that look like this. So, long story short, the muscles that you're using are your upper traps to try to lock out overhead. If you use the upper traps, that's bad news bears. You're gonna have too much overuse here, then strain your neck, but also you're not gonna be able to actually lock out those elbows. So when you get overhead and your elbows are bent, you're probably into your traps. So one of the drills to do, you just grab a dumbbell, or you could just use your arm itself. You get into that handstand push-up position. If you were to just shrug up first and then press, you'll see that none of these muscles are on, right? That means all that weight's going here, probably shoulder, tricep, but none of these front muscles, this side of the shoulder, is activated. So then the weight's gotta go somewhere else, or you break here, or you gotta dive back like that. Holding the dumbbell in this position, or your arm here, try to flex your pec and that bicep. What that does is these muscles are gonna support that shoulder, take some of that stress off of the trap, and then if you keep flexing these muscles up overhead like this, you're gonna use a lot more muscles to hold that weight. So you'll see my elbows locked out now. It feels a lot more natural. Before, if I'm shrugged forward and press, that doesn't feel very good. All the weight's pinching here. When I flex my pec, my bicep, keeping these on, locking out from here, I don't feel that strain anymore right here, okay? So simple drill for the mechanics is to grab a dumbbell in your handstand push-up position, grab two, and you're just trying to keep the pec and bicep on when you lock out. So when you get to here, you're gonna feel a lot more tension in the front of the shoulder as well as the back. That's gonna take some tension off. That's how you're actually gonna get the elbows to lock out. All right? Give it a shot. If you keep ending up here in that handstand, just because you practice a ton of kips, it's not gonna get you there. It's just gonna load here more. Give this drill a try, and drills don't mean anything unless you apply it to the movement. So after you guys do a couple of these drills where you feel tension here as well, then you guys are gonna kick up in a handstand and then try to lock out where these muscles are still on. Feel the difference from the first handstand you do. You might be here. or you might be here, whichever one. Then you do the drills, and then hopefully you'll be here where everything stays on.